Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the deciding game in this best-of-3 PvP between two unbelievably talented Protosses here at the ESET UK Masters Qualifier #1. I am Jarasar, and we're about to hop into the game with Socke going up against Pink. And between these guys, they've eliminated a lot of players in the tournament so far, but we're really getting down to the sharp end because the winner of this game is guaranteed a spot in the Final Four with a shot at the prize money and the spoils going to I-47. Let's see what they can make of it, guys. The map is Metropolis. Let's get into the game. And we have spawning over here at the 9 o'clock position on Metropolis, guys. Representing ATN, winning game 1, but going down in game number 2, getting fended off by those Immortals. What can he do here in the deciding game? It is Socke. And his opponent spawning as the red Protoss at the 12 o'clock position, guys. Holding that last game like a boss. Getting his own blink as well to counter his opponent's blink stalkers, but simply having the robo as extra by the end of it, and there was nothing he could do about it. But can he emulate his success in this deciding game? It is MTL's Pink. So, pretty cool stuff coming out from both these guys, and it looks like this game is going to be the ace match. In the meantime, guys, just to give you a quick recap on what the brackets were like elsewhere, because I know we've stayed with this game for quite a while. We have Hobber going up against Strelok as well. Stardust Light in the other half of the bracket has actually gone down 2-0 to Rotan. So Rotan really showing his mettle there. Stardust Light taking out Zicto Mini earlier in the tournament. Very, very strong player by the looks of things. And Rotan able to make it into the round of 4. And we have Aces Bly going against Runa, who defeated Bishu 2-1. So the bracket is shaping up quite nicely here, as we have a probe from Pink just moving out towards the base of Socke. Now both sides have taken gas at the moment, but Pink has actually opted to take 2. So once again, just being a little bit faster than Socke on the gas front. Let's see if Socke opts to take his second gas at around the same time. We saw in the game so far, he's taken his second gas just ever so slightly later than his opponent, but he actually hasn't made a move towards it yet. I wonder, yeah, and Pink does actually see this as well. I wonder if Socke is going to be taking it immediately, if he's going to be happy to stay with 1. 2 and 2 on gas at the moment, so Pink's not going for any sort of huge gas-heavy build. But, of course, if Socke scouts it, which he hasn't just yet, he will know that, oh, hang on a second, there are only 2 probes on each gas. This isn't quite as quick tech as I thought it might otherwise be. Pylon going down now as well for Socke near that gas as the first Zealot pops out and is going to be chasing this poor little probe around the mulberry bush. Nothing too out of the ordinary, though. Pink will continue to be able to get decent scouts off until the first Stalker comes out of this gateway. And there we have it. We have the second gas being taken by Socke. So things looking pretty chilled out. Not too much else going on. Pink actually with his Zealot sort of out in the middle of no man's land needs to be a little careful, because if, for example, 2 Stalkers decided to pop up here, they might be able to do a decent amount of damage to it, but Pink does have a Stalker of his own moving out now as Socke controls the center of the map with this probe at the Zelnaga Tower. Must be feeling pretty important right about now, and both sides going for the robotics facility. So a 1-gate robo versus a 1-gate robo by the looks of things from both of these guys, as Pink goes up to 3 harvesters in each gas geyser. Oh, and that is additional gateway, guys. So we have a robotics facility and 4 gateways in close by air position coming out of Socke. I think this might be a War Prism coming out of this robo. Let's keep an eye on it and see what else is going on. We have a robotics facility and only 1 additional gateway coming out from Pink. So if a War Prism pops out here, and indeed it does, getting into the main base of Pink could be huge for Socke, if not game-winning, because he'll have 4 gateways worth of units potentially against 2 gateways worth of units. Let's see what he decides. Oh, even putting a pylon there to scout for any units that Pink might have in that position. And the Observer is going to see this pylon and this probe. I think he might know that the Warp Prism is on the way as well. Does he catch a glimpse of that Warp Prism? Yes, he does, literally for just a second. Will it be enough, though? He's only got 2 gateways. And the robotics facility, we do have an Immortal about to pop out of it as well. Here we go. The Warp Prism with 4 Zealots, and Pink doesn't see it. It's still on the edge of his base. He must surely have an inkling right now, and yes, he is moving towards that corner. 8 Zealots and more counting coming in from Socke right now. What's he going to be able to do? He's actually warping more additional units in. He's not going for the mineral line at the moment. He's just going to try and pure damage and break down the front door, trying to target down the Immortal and the Sentry first of all. And I think Pink knows this is pretty difficult for him to hold all the probes coming. Oh no, falling so quickly to Zealots as well. This is not good, and I think Pink is dead here, guys. 38 supply to 21. Pink attempted to take his expansion off of this, and it just wasn't the right read. The Observer didn't see it in time for him to be able to defend against stuff like this, sadly. And Socke is looking like he's just going to be able to take game number 3, and as a result, the series, which means he will be able to go into the Final 4 and have a single best of 3 shot at winning that stuff for I-47. Picking apart the last remaining Stalkers, and Pink, unfortunately, will not be progressing any further in this tournament. GG! And Socke, ladies and gentlemen, is through to the semi-finals. Very, very aggressive play from Socke there in game number 3, but got the robotics facility, saw that they were in close by air positions, couldn't see a follow-up scout coming up the ramp, so why not go up to 4 gateways and see what happens? And that's indeed is what happened there. Pink might have been looking to see if Socke was coming up his ramp, had a sentry ready, all his units were grouped and bunched at his ramp, waiting for any sort of incoming aggression. It did not come, of course, because the Warp Prism instead popped by. At the start of that engagement, Socke lifted 8 Zealots, not 4, he lifted 8 from the low ground to the high ground, so very patiently used it up, didn't want to wait for the warp cooldown, so warped them in on the low ground and picked them up with the Warp Prism to deposit them on the high ground, and then just proceeded to demolish his opponent with 4 gateways worth of production versus 2. So that is going to be Socke's victory, 2-1 here, and that means we have some players in the Final 4. Let's take a quick look at the brackets, guys, to see where we are in this tournament so far. So, starting from the top of the bracket, we see Hobbe doing pretty darn well indeed. It looks like possibly getting a free win against Sage there. I'm not 100% certain, but 2-0, and then defeating Underdark before going up against Strelok, who has just defeated Lau and Jimmy. And defeating Lau, actually, and only by a margin of 2-1. Lau was really on fire today. He 2-0'd Delphi after beating Bobson. So, pretty tough road for Lau there, sadly bowing out to Strelok. But Strelok versus Hobbe could be a fun game to watch. Meanwhile, Socke, we just saw defeat Pink, so he is through to the semifinals. Meanwhile, Rotan is also through to the semifinals after defeating Stardust Light, which means that the other game in the round of 8 we're still going to be looking out for is Bly versus Runa. And Bly defeated Crusher to get there, and Runa defeated Bishu 2-1. So all pretty exciting stuff going on there. Let's see what ends up happening. In the meantime, we're going to wait for the admins and go to a quick break to find out which of these games are available or if we're going to be jumping into the semifinals next. We'll be keeping you guys posted. Stay tuned.